Oh.
Hello, and welcome back to Random Varieties, where we basically check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Well, martial art figures is hurting right now. And Trixie means hurting. Can't believe I have to do more of this story until March. There's so many other stories I could be reading right now, but no, I'm stuck with this thing. Do you think it's getting better? Just little. You know what you need? What? I got some milk. Uh-huh. Your favorite anime playing. Uh-huh. One of your favorite sports anime playing. Uh-huh. And your little wife's final figure. Yay. And maybe some good One Piece fix from a certain Red Queen that hasn't shown up in a while. Hmm. Trixie, I like the cut of your jib. I think that will make me feel better. Okay, let me take you back a long, long, long time ago in the early days of YouTube. Back when videos used to only be about 10 minutes long each. If you wanted to watch a pirated movie, you had to watch it through 10-part intervals. And Machinima was in its primacy. Back before the days of online reviewers of, say, like Kara and Nostalgia Craig, hell, even the AVGN. Way, way, way back before any of that. Back when Red vs. Blue just usually stuck to its own site and various machinima sites, or even Newsgrounds or wherever Red vs. Blue used to premiere. Back in the old days. Oh, and before Crunchyroll and Hulu and all those other anime streaming sites that we have now. Back in the old days, if you wanted to hear a review or interesting opinion or somebody making fun of a bad thing like, say, PETA or some other organization, you had to watch rant videos. Yeah. Back before they called them vlogs, and back before they said, "Oh, they're vlogs," or "Oh, they're newsies." They used to call them rant videos. And these things were everywhere. Heck, some people even fought wars between who was better. Heck, there's still some of them are still around, but nowadays with editing and video stuff becoming so much cheaper and Audacity being free, it's become a lot more fun for people to do reviews. And of course, not just angry reviewing. No, no, no. You just have to know what to look for. I mean, personally, I'm subscribed to Chris Stuckerman and Linkara. There's a whole variety out there. But back then, and of course, this was the only way you got to see something like, say, the top 10 differences between Four Kids' One Piece. Back in those days. Back when we still had the Four Kids dub. Back when Four Kids dub was fading away. And in a few months, the Funimation dub would air. Yes, you've gone back to those days. Heck, this channel was just a small little thing. It was only meant for watching videos and commenting. It was only used just to watch videos. I haven't even made my first video yet. So, talking about Four Kids makes me think about one of the earliest rant videos I ever saw. A young girl by the name of Kohan. Now, she was special because she did One Piece fix. That's right. We're going to check out some Ace and Luffy fix. Brotherly fix. People, brotherly fix. So, Without further ado, stay here as we hear the Terry Perry Memorial Library and proud to present a One Piece collection of Kohan Fix. Enjoy. First off, Ace's Treasure. When people think of treasure, they think of gold, jewels, or treasure chests full of berry. They think of valuable riches that no man will ever lay their eyes on. Pirates and their crews see treasure as the same way that was only added to the list as the treasure of adventures and more to come out in the wide open sea. Other people do not care about money and see treasure as that they are unlucky enough to have. Their treasures are their homes, their families, mementos of lost loved ones. Whatever little things they manage to do and have in this era are personal treasures. Strange even had a treasure of his own. He lent it to Ace's little brother until the day he returned as Pirate King. Ace looked at his 7-year-old young brother, who was drawing mischievous pictures on a piece of paper, wearing a straw hat that was too big for him and grinning ear to ear. That hat was now Luffy's treasure, was he now protected from like a hawk from any damage. You might be wondering what Ace's treasure is. Without a doubt, his treasure, despite how he attracted trouble like a magnet, was his only brother. Sabo is upset at this. Sabo is very, very miffed. Ace went over to his brother, who looked up and grinned before continuing his task. Taking one look at the crayon drawing, Ace could tell Luffy had agreed as well. In the picture was a tall noodle figure with black claws that were most likely clothing. It had a big orange-looking hat with scribbles and black lines coming out, which was most likely hair. Next to it was another noodle figure with a large shirt drawn blue crayon, with the word anchor spelled wrong and scribbled with black hair. A yellow blob with a red line was going through it, most likely his newly acquired straw hat. Right next to him was a badly drawn color figure with a large big top hat that said S. Next to it, indeed, the D brothers were more to each other than all the gold, jewels, or berry in the sea. Next up, Ponymouth. Ace respected Shanks. He respected him as a pirate captain, a man, as a father figure, and idol to his 7-year-old brother Luffy. Well, there was something that the red-haired man and his crew did while in the presence of his brother that made him want to throw something at the red-haired captain's head.
Hey, Ace! What does asshole mean?
Luffy asked, walking into the house, his eyes blinking curiosity. You would think he would ask Dayton that. Dayton probably knows a lot about it. Scratch that. The man did things that made him want to punch him in the head. Shanks had to learn to control his mouth. Next up, Crazy D Brothers. Plum sighed as sitting at the table at the D Brothers' household as he waited for Luffy and Ace to get done with whatever stupid thing they decided to fight over now. 13-year-old Luffy and 16-year-old Ace were upstairs having another wrestling match, inside their own house and making a huge commotion. Oh, I get it. Her character is Plum is an OC. You see, guys, this is how you do a good OC. Not overpowered and friendly.
Will you two knock it off already?
Plum screamed, looking upstairs.
He started it!
Gator replies in both voice. I don't care who
started it! I'm stopping it!
That stopped the arguing from upstairs. Sighing, Plum lifted a cup of tea to her lips. Right before the commotion started up again with Ace sounding annoyed and Luffy sounding amused. Which, if you knew the brothers, this was a very bad combination. In a flash, very laughing and naked Luffy came bounding down the stairs to the kitchen, clutching something in his hand. Then Ace came running down in the same state of duress as he ran after his younger brother.
Damn it, Luffy! Give me my boxers!
Plum still sat at the table quietly, eyes narrowing, her breath blowing bubbles in the tea she was holding. Those two were insane! Next up, Freckles! Ace had very fair skin. So it was no wonder that he had so many freckles dusting his youthful face. With all the time he spent out in the sun either doing chores or training, it was inevitable that they would appear. While the skin of his body tanned rather nicely, his cheeks gained constant freckled appearance all year round. Magino said that they were charming, And Ace knew she was saying that because that was how she felt. Wanted to remove any ideas that made him look silly from his mind. However, it was the obvious sense Ace liked him. He didn't care that they were there, and most of the time he hadn't noticed them until he was looking in the mirror. Which is why he was looking at himself in the mirror with an annoyed look on his face. Each and every one of his freckles was now a new color. There was a large amount of red used, blue, orange, some green, and random spots. And oh, take a look at that single pink one that's under his eye. All the multicolored madness that had been put on his face with the help of the ink from some markers under a certain 7-year-old's craft box. How did he know Luffy had done it? Well, maybe it was the fact that said boy was snoring away on the sofa with the floor being littered with red, blue, orange, green, and bubblegum pink markers. Just a guess, really. The now multicolored freckled face glared at the snoozing boy before smirking. He picked up a nearby green marker. 2 could play at this little game! First times! Ace had watched all of his little brothers' firsts when they were growing back in Fuchsia, and he had taken part in some of those firsts. He was the first to yell that Mom was having the baby, and the first that allowed to hold his new baby brother for the first time. I'm just surprised that Ruse was alive at this time. He had been the first to smile at the little boy. When Luffy had started to learn to crawl, it was Ace that he crawled to. He began snuggling up over him to get him to play. Luffy, when he began walking, toddled over to Ace, crawled into his lap and began coloring, and snuggled to his older brother's stomach, and with a little yawn fell asleep. When Luffy started talking, it was Ace's name to bow out the baby's baby talk, and tiny hands reached out. Eyes bright and smiling to get his big brother to pick him up. Oh, okay, that's it. I'm dying! No! It was Ace that when Luffy was older, he came to his big secret of becoming a pirate when Shanks had been staying on that island. That before he had shouted at Shanks the day he was to leave. It had been Ace first that Luffy had come to in tears when bullies called him a monster, when Shanks had lost his arm saving him. It had always been Ace first that Luffy came to when nightmares of thunderstorms came along. It had been Ace that Luffy came to whenever he was having trouble with his training. But for all the firsts Ace had been a part of involving his brother, there was one he would never forget. Luffy had been the very first person on the dock to see him off on the day that he left on his journey to become a pirate. Last one. These things are getting too much for me. Wake up call. Plum was standing on a stool next to Makino cooking breakfast. Ace, his younger brother Luffy, and their friend Plum had spent the night when the trio had conked down on their seats at the bar stools while playing with the red-headed Shanks fire crew the other night. Dayton was not absentee. Sabo was outside. Ace had woken up as he always did and was out training. Luffy was still sleeping, snuggled up in a cot in Makino's room next to the other 2 cots that were now empty of their occupants. Makino started making the oatmeal when Ace came in. So Ace flustered training in the heat of the sun. That, or he had an episode and was laying in the sun until he woke up. Ugh, is breakfast done? Ace asked, walking up to the counter to grab some toast. Makino grabbed his hand before his fingers touched the toasted bread. Almost, but no need until everyone's here. Letting go of the 10-year-old's hands, he went back to the oatmeal. Maybe I should go wake Luffy up? Ace thought out loud, and Makino recognized and looked at the 10-year-old in his eyes. Now, Ace, remember what happened last time? What do you mean? Ace asked, using the instant look at his little brother, practically invented. You know what she means, Plum said, finally tucking her messy ponytail tight, always suggesting to make it more tangled in its tie. Last time you woke Luffy up, it was by jumping on the bed, and Luffy takes you around, yelling every swear word he's ever heard. Could I help it if Luffy was cranky that morning? Because he was snoring the whole night. I don't snore! Luffy snores, I don't. Yes, you do, Plum said, hopping off the stool. You're 20 times louder than Luffy is. You're exaggerating. Ace waved the fellow 10-year-old off and walked to Makino's room. Makino sighed went to grab some bowls and a bottle of honey from the cabinets. This is a cry of morning came from the bedroom, echoing out the one table in the room. The offensive scream of profanities colored the air blue as the laughing Ace was chased out of the room by a livid Luffy, dressed in light red foot PJs with stars decorating them. His tousled black hair sticking in all directions as he tore around the bar trying to catch his older brother, but the 2 ran out of the bar entirely. Dayton, of course, was angry at this. Leaving the bar, entirely quiet. The crew girls shook their heads. Makino smiled as he did so before going back to work. Sometimes, and on very few occasions, was Luffy not a morning person. I find these fics kind of interesting. Not just because they're sweet, innocent, fluffy, and good golly did I need these. I really needed this. But it also makes me remember sometimes the same type of feeling I get when it comes to pony fics. You see, you gotta remember that we as pony fans are writing stories based off of an ever-flowing, ever-growing mythology. We continue to have headcanon after headcanon. Sometimes this headcanon is confirmed, sometimes this headcanon is smirched, and sometimes this headcanon gets altered. I mean, shoot. I thought that Twilight was an orphan until Cutie Chronicles. I bet we all thought that Sweetie Belle was forced to live with Rarity until Sisterhood Social. But we live in that type of story. But we're not the only ones that do this. If you're a fan of manga, or heck, if you're a fan of an ongoing show, yeah, you're going to get the same reaction. You're still going to get the same type of fan base, fan ideals, and stuff like that. At the time that this story was being written, we had yet to get to Ace's execution. Right around this time, 2006 2007, we had just left Thriller Bark. We were heading to the Red Line, and we're getting to the Shibuya Archipelago. At this time, we thought that Ace and Luffy were blood brothers. That yes, they were related by blood, and Dragon was Ace's dad. And Garp was, okay, Garp is still technically Ace's grandfather due to adoption, but work with me. So at the time these stories were written, all these little bits of seeing Luffy and Ace being together at birth, hanging around Makino, was perfectly normal. But in about 2008, 2009-ish, I think that was when the arc started. No, it was definitely 2010. Right around then, that's when we got hit with one of the bigger revelations in the Marineford War. Goldie Roger was Ace's father, and Dragon was Luffy's dad. Oh no, this means they were raised together. Okay. But then later on, Ace made a mention of somebody. When Ace was dying, he made a one-line mention that nobody expected. I remember it because I was busy crying, but I remember reading it. If it wasn't for you guys, and Sabo. Wait, who's the Sabo guy? I don't know any Sabo. And what happens later? We get Luffy's flashback, and we find out that there is a third Straw Hat brother. And I can only imagine that at this point, there have been dozens and dozens of fics like this, where Ace and Luffy are growing up in Fusion Villains together, hanging out, chilling, talking, being blood brothers, Ace raising Luffy and taking care of him. But then, oh no, this whole new idea pops up. That, okay, they weren't raised together. And then we get revelation after revelation. Oh, they weren't just raised together. At first, Ace despised Luffy. He didn't want anything to do with the Straw Hat. Oh, he and Asama were together. Oh, Ace didn't realize the meaning of protecting Luffy until after Sabo died, and Ace and Luffy got badly hurt. That's what happens sometimes when you're working with fanfic that has a growing and still ongoing series. That sometimes things get added, authors do something, mangaka